Welcome to the Infinite Evolution Podcast, where you'll receive keys and codes to help you unlock your next level of joy, radiance, health, wealth, intuition, embodiment, and soul purpose. This is a space for lightworkers, healers, spiritual entrepreneurs, and anyone who wants to share their soul gifts with the world. We'll be exploring personal, spiritual, and professional growth and ascension through both the esoteric and magical and the tangible and practical. I'm Casey Aileen Knight, coach, mentor, as well as divine channel and soul gift activator. I founded the Luminous Evolution brand to help you elevate your business and beingness and light up the world. So glad you're here. Let's dive in. He called me a false light representation of source energy, a false prophet, a capitalist instead of a spiritualist, and a few other very unsavory things, all because I did not agree with him about spiritual psychosis being an essential part of someone's spiritual awakening. Let's dive into why I do the work that I do, and why comments like this do not get to me anymore. They used to. My heart would pound when someone would accuse me falsely of something that I was not, because I did not have the nervous system capacity to handle people being wrong about me. I really disliked it. But I have done so much frickin' healing over the last, my entire lifetime, but really the last couple years, where if somebody is committed to misunderstanding and misrepresenting me, I no longer care. I do obviously always check in with myself and say, is anything that they are saying or accusing me of true? And I run it through my filter, because I am absolutely aware that I have shadows, my shit stinks, I can be mistaken about things. I am very keenly aware of all of that. But over the years, I have truly come to terms with the fact that my work is not for everyone. Not everyone is at the frequency where they are available to hear it. And some people just have different perspectives and points of view, and that's okay. I'm not here for everybody. They don't have to understand me, and it's okay if people are wrong about me. So, who's they? This guy that I am speaking of was just an encounter that I had on Threads, which is a social media platform similar to Twitter or X, but it's run by Meta, which is normally quite a spiritual meeting ground, and a lot of very cool high frequency people are posting on there. I've met a lot of really, really cool collaborators, coaches, teachers, healers. I love it most of the time. But someone had posted a question about spiritual psychosis, and this gentleman, who was calling himself a mystic, and also a Buddha, said, well, it's just part of the process, an inevitable part of the journey, and either you make it out or you don't. And I was like, hold on a sec. Absolutely not. Like, fuck, it is. Yes, it is a very common thing, especially in today's day and age, where there is so much information being pummeled at people and so much data, and people don't have the training or the support required to be able to integrate it. And people are traumatized, people are scared. And so spiritual psychosis is very common, but that doesn't mean it has to happen, that it's inevitable or desirable or anything like that. And I mentioned that, with proper support, when people have the healing and the tools and the connection to ensure that their heart and their root can be open, so when the light is flowing through, it doesn't overwhelm the system, then it's not necessary that people go through psychosis. And this person was so unhappy because their experience was that they went through psychosis. And they were like, that is such a privileged position. Not everyone can afford support and la la la. And I was like, well, yes, absolutely. It is a privilege to have the support. Whether you are paying for it or not, it is absolutely a privilege and not everyone has that. I want to be part of the change. I want to be part of the solution. And that is why I train facilitators to support people in safer spiritual journeys. So, and to understand the mechanics of awakening and ascension and how energy needs to flow, how we need to feel safe, how the nervous system works to translate light, all of these things. And let's be clear, I give away a ton of this information for free. I have it in my free frequency upgrade academy. I've got some tools that really work to support this. And I also just gave away a lot of the prepping the field work that I do to create safety for people in a free masterclass called The Evolution of Your Magic that I do have available in my membership, but it's going to be up for the next few days, at least next few weeks, actually, after this podcast is launched. I give this stuff away for free because it's so important. But this person, without knowing me, without knowing the kind of work that I do, just maybe looked at my profile and was like, oh, you sell spiritual stuff. So of course you have to convince people of your rhetoric and your narrative. And I was like, whoa, my rhetoric that it's not essential to go through psychosis. He's like, if you have not walked in the darkness, you don't know true light. So you're a fake and a fraud and a phony. I could have just blocked him there, obviously. But I had some time, and because this person was calling himself a mystic, I was like, oh, I'm curious if this person is available to a conversation that could be perspective shifting. As a spiritual teacher, I do love having conversations with people that can shift perspectives. And I'm like, we should have some common language here. We should have some availability to find a common ground so I can explain the work that I do. And I was like, just engaging a conversation, continuing, saying, yeah, that's an interesting perspective. I do believe that you can experience a dark night of the soul or other darkness to give you that contrast so that you can understand the light without going through psychosis. That pissed him off even more because this person was really dialed in. Like, no, you have to go through psychosis because I did. And so I don't know if they ever fully healed from that, right? This person's heart is probably still closed and they're operating in the upper energy centers, the upper chakras or evolutionary centers without the heart being open and the root being open and connected to the earth because this person was not responding with divine love. There was a lot of projection. And the thing about when someone's pointing their finger at you and I could like feel the finger pointing anger spitting at me energy, but I was totally grounded and okay. Like it wasn't affecting me. It wasn't affecting my nervous system. When one finger is being pointed at one person, that person's pointing 3 back at themselves. There's this mirroring effect. Yeah. And so the conversation continued for just a little bit. And he was like, you're not a spiritualist. You sell things, you sell spirituality for money. We are not the same. You're a capitalist. Me and my Reiki practitioner don't exchange money, and that keeps it pure. I'm like, okay. So curious, would it be better if my daughter starved to death because I could not feed her because I had no money? There are so many old programs running where people say money is not spiritual. If everything is from source, everything is spiritual. Even the Matrix. The people aren't ready for that conversation. When people are running the old programming that has vows of poverty and self-sacrifice, they get really upset when spiritual people choose to empower themselves so they're no longer in survival mode, but they're in overflow so that they can actually affect change on the planet. And I was like, honestly, I think as fractals of infinite source, we are here to play, grow, learn, expand, and money is part of that journey. And I actually want more money in the hands of spiritual people because they are going to do things with it to support humanity, to support our evolution and growth, not to hoard resources, but to actually help humanity, because right now money is energy. It's currency, and like it or not, it's not going anywhere tomorrow. It's not going anywhere for a while. We need to play the game in order to change the game. So until money is no longer a thing, let's utilize money to help people, to heal sick people and advance technologies, to help the environment, to clothe and house the homeless, to feed the hungry. Like, we need money to do those things, whether our money or someone else's money. Money is still going to be in the equation, right? Why not empower ourselves to be the ones who can help? And this guy, again, this is all a conversation through text. It's happening over the course of a few days. Is like, oh, well, we're not here to help anybody. We are here to be shepherds of people from the mineral kingdom to light. You know, I'm not here to help. And I was like, okay, cool. If you're not here to help, then we are absolutely not the same, because I know that it has to come through me, but I'm going to use my money to make the world a better place and help other people do the same. It's like, so, you know, we're just coming at it from a different perspective. Totally appreciate your service. Thank you for everything. You know, that's it. We're walking different paths. Good luck with everything. You know, I was just like, keeping it pleasant. Obviously, we have different paths that we are walking towards God with, that we are in divine service with, different perspectives. And I'm not going to say that his is wrong, because it is exactly what he needs to explore right now. This person's like, I'm not going to wish anybody luck who is misrepresenting source. Like, okay, buddy, block. I don't often engage in conversations like this, especially since I have committed myself to allowing people to misunderstand me. I'm not gonna defend myself. I'm not gonna say, listen, buddy, I don't own a house. I have reinvested absolutely every penny that I have had that was extra, that's not going to feeding, you know, or clothing or entertaining my child, to my business, because my divine service and my divine mission is so important. And I have these evolutionary codes that I know I was given a divine mission to share with the world. So, and no one is coming to platform me in this lifetime. I get to do that myself. I have had to learn the business side of things, the facilitation and teaching side of things through trial and error, but also investing hundreds of thousands of dollars and just thousands of hours, if tens of thousands of hours of my time, of learning how to run a business, as well as mastering all of the coaching, teaching, and facilitation skills that I have, because I know how to have people have direct experiences of the divine. I don't want anyone to have to take my word for it when I say that you can touch and be enveloped and supported by divine love that will heal you, that will make you weep, that will help you feel so resourced, and will reconnect you to the truth of who you are. I know how to do that. And not only do I know how to do that, I know how to teach other people how to learn to do that for other people too. And a whole bunch of other really cool stuff that makes the world a better place. So I'm not going to let anyone's opinion, especially not when that is, you should be in poverty and go through psychosis, otherwise you're not a true light worker or healer. Like, that's just, I'm laughing, but also I have so much compassion and empathy for this person who went through that without support and is so traumatized by that experience. Their heart is still closed. They cannot see that there are multiple paths, because there are infinite paths back home. And we don't have to be fighting each other. But when your nervous system does not feel safe, you're going to mistranslate the light because you are running everything through this egoic filter. And the ego is not a bad thing, but it's all about survival. But the egoic filter that says, this is not safe, I'm not safe, and anything that's not like me exactly is not safe, and it's not true, and it's not right. So without that support, without the healing, without the nervous system that is available to become regulated and go out of that fight or flight or freeze energy and into an open rest and digest parasympathetic state, without all of that, then everything gets messed up. We don't have full access to the divine. This person certainly thinks that they do, but things get mistranslated when the nervous system is not properly functioning and you are perceiving absolutely everything as a threat to your existence. Because that is what the ego does. When we are in fight or flight, or freeze or shut down or fawn or whatever, when we just don't feel safe, we are really truly acting out of these baser instincts that are trying to keep us alive. We put these shields up, and everything that tries to come through the shield that is divine, it's going to either bounce off or it's going to get bent and it's going to be distorted. And then the nervous system itself is not in the position to work properly to translate the light. So questionable things come through, mistranslations. This is where spiritual psychosis, schizophrenia, and other issues happen. Joseph Campbell said something along the lines of, the mystic swims in delight in the same waters that drowned the psychotic. Just because I have not personally experienced spiritual psychosis does not mean that I do not know the light. Now, again, I didn't have to defend myself to this person. I didn't explain myself and be like, well, actually, I've been a mystic since I was a kid and all that. I didn't go into saying like, listen, you don't even have to take my word for it. I can take people into direct knowing of the divine, of source, of God, of the light. Because he wouldn't have believed me, right? Or those people say, false light, heretic, pretty much, witch, burn her, right? I didn't need to prove myself. At this point, I have the clarity and the confidence in who I am and what I do. And not just because I can do it for me, but because I've been able to support thousands of people access these mystical states, reunify themselves with the divine current, and feel a divine love that is unmistakable. So, when I went through this experience, just chatting with some guy, I was actually really tickled because it was almost like it had been months since I had encountered anybody like that. And the last time that I had, when someone was attacking me and telling me I was wrong, bad, etc., my heart would race a little bit. I'd be like, oh, someone doesn't understand me. Oh my goodness. Like it would feel like an attack to my nervous system. And this time I was so grounded in my truth, so clear on not only my mission and my magic and what I'm here to do, but there was just no part of me that felt unsafe because of that misunderstanding. And I think that is what had been coming up in the past. It wasn't that I was, not sure if I was true. It was never putting me into any kind of spin when people be like, you're wrong and bad. It would just be that I felt unsafe because in the past lives, childhood stuff, Akashic stuff, ancestral stuff, being misunderstood was dangerous. So I would feel unsafe, right? And so I would have no control over that nervous system response. And it would oftentimes make me play small. And I would shrink, or I would try to defend myself or over explain myself. And I've literally been working on this shit again for years, years and years and years and years. Because I do have a 5 line in human design, and people are very likely to project their shit all over me. I've had it happen time and time and time again. Family members, mentors, strangers, suddenly seeing me and my truth and twisting it as an attack upon them or some kind of false light. And that is so okay with me now. It wasn't before. So for anybody who is still in this process of feeling unsafe to shine, feeling unsafe with the idea that someone might misunderstand them or misconstrue what they're doing, I understand. I feel you. I have walked this path too, and it gets better. And it gets better really, really quickly when you apply the evolutionary alchemy technologies, practices, system that I have and that I teach to do all kinds of mystical, but also practical work, because we work with the unified field. We do not just have mystical experiences that could just stay in energy. We work with the nervous system. We work with the sub and superconscious mind. We make sure we're clearing out akashics and ancestral stuff and collective stuff and stuff from childhood. We make sure we are supporting the human heart as well as the spirit and the connecting with the essence and bringing through highest self, but also connecting with the divine, connecting with Gaia, bringing it all into the heart. Keeping the heart open and making sure that light can move through us and that we're reconnected to the divine current so that we are not running off of the battery powered that happens when we put our shields up because we don't feel safe. The work that I do is difficult to describe because it is so multifaceted and multidimensional, but it is very fucking effective. And I know that because I walked it, I cultivated it for me through, again, thousands of hours, hundreds of thousands of dollars, so many coaches, courses, experiences, again, trial and error, all of this. It was channeled through me from my highest self with this evolutionary codex I was here to share. But also, it has helped so many of my clients come into this space where they feel safe enough and inspired enough and connected and resourced and supported enough that they can shine their light as well, regardless of how many people understand them. The desire to be understood is so natural. We want to be understood, of course we do. But those of us who came to this world to change it are obviously not going to be understood by people who are not walking the same path. I don't want to water my magic down anymore. I'm not. I was told that I needed to speak in much simpler terms and start at the beginning of people's journeys so I could walk the whole way through with them. But you know what? That's not my path. It's not my path. I'm here to help the helpers, the people who've already been doing this work for a long time, who are not beginners, who are ready to frickin' fly. So if you want to dive into this work with me, here's how you can do that. If you want to go deeper, you can check out my free Frequency Upgrade Academy. Check out the short modules in there, the lessons that are 11 minutes or less that are going to give you some of these foundational tools. You can check out my free masterclasses. There's almost always something going on there. You can learn how to teach my modality. The doors to the Evolutionary Alchemy Practitioner Program are open now in the spring of 2025 here. So I'm going to teach you how to do what I do and bring other people through mystical experiences with over 15 templates of ways that you can walk people through this. But I also teach you how to work with someone's highest self and their luminous team to create these bespoke experiences where they get exactly what they need. And it's a journey for yourself too, because you go through your own reconnection and activation and initiations so that you can guide other people through it. So the practitioner pathway is one, if you want to learn a new methodology, it's a new earth technology through my evolutionary codex. It's called evolutionary alchemy. If you are not here to teach my medicine and use my methodology, but you want to experience it for yourself, you want me to guide you through the beautiful activations, clearings, restoration of that divine flow and reconnection with the truth of who you are and the liberation of the wealth of your soul, two main ways you can play with me. You can come in at the membership level, which is like a buffet where there is different workshops, a content vault, as well as monthly live events and coaching. Or if you are ready for the full luminous experience, you can apply to be part of my, I could call it a mastermind, but it's more than that. It's a divine mind. It is a temple space, a mastermind plus group coaching plus sacred initiation space where I get to bring all of the magic forward in a high touch, intimate way where you can connect with your highest self and future self and channel your divine energies and get guidance from you and your highest levels, from your highest timeline often. And then here's the amazing part, get the coaching from me to actually implement and integrate the scary shit that soul is going to tell you to do. Because it's one thing to connect with the highest timeline and what your soul is like, here's your soul mission, here's your next steps. And it's a very another thing to take action on it. It's another thing entirely to feel comfortable and confident enough to actually do the thing, because we have fear, we have trauma, we have old stuff holding us back. We have people that are going to misunderstand us. We're going to have the ego saying, you don't know how, this is too much, it's too big, it's too inconvenient, or that doesn't make sense. So you do get to work in the mastermind with me as a guide to help you actually take the steps that your soul is telling you to do. The luminous experience includes all of it, the unified field template. We don't leave any part behind. We work with your nervous system and your body, but we also connect with your soul, spirit, highest self, and source essence, and the oversoul of your business. We make sure your heart and your emotional realm is on board and that your mind is focused. We help you master your mindset and repattern your subconscious and superconscious mind so that it feels easy instead of like you're gonna die if you do it. There's so many different ways that you can tap into this magic. But if you are someone who is here on Earth's transition team, if you are someone who is here to help humanity through your own divine embodiment, and you resonate with my words, and you want to be abundant AF doing it, not living in poverty, but you know that your abundance is actually for the highest and best good of humanity, because then you can give from the overflow, come and play with my world. And if you are not sure what your next right step is, but you know this work is for you, just connect with me on Instagram or Facebook. Email me, connect with me, and I would happily share with you what might be the most potent way for you to step in. But remember, we don't have to be understood by people who don't get it. We don't have to convince them. There is no need to force. There is no need to change their mind at all. It's time to talk to the people who do get it, to get yourself in front of the people who are going to see you, feel you, find your magic and go, oh my God, yes, you're speaking my language, where have you been all my life? But that requires us to do the inner work to liberate ourselves of all of the masks and the density and the programs that we have that are keeping us playing small, staying hidden, staying quiet. It's time to liberate your light, my friend. This is the luminous and infinite evolution.
Thank you so much for tuning in. If you've enjoyed this episode, please make sure to subscribe and share this out to people that need to hear it. Tag us on social media. You can find us at The Luminous Evolution on Instagram. And keep the conversation going by joining my free sacred community, Luminous Evolution, on Facebook, and get a taste of my favorite tools and techniques inside my free Frequency Upgrade Academy. You can also join me inside my membership, mastermind, certification programs, or private coaching to be deeply supported on your evolutionary journey. Make sure to check out the links in the show notes, and cheers to your infinite, luminous evolution.